Today, authorities in Adams County, Colorado, right next to Denver, announced that local law enforcement and the FBI are investigating a ballot they received in an envelope containing a suspicious powdery substance. It is crazy on its face that we're at a point here where someone trying to harm election workers is even within the realm of possibility. But what makes this story truly remarkable is how the Adams County clerk is handling all of this. Back in May, he told ABC News that threats he and his fellow election workers were facing were so bad that he was wearing a bulletproof vest to work. And he was not alone. Election workers in multiple Colorado counties underwent active shooter training and started wearing their own bulletproof vests because of the threats that have been pouring in as a result of the big lie. The Adams County clerk went so far as to ask his employees to not take the same route home from work every day. That is how concerned they are for their own safety. And yet, even when presented with something as terrifying as an envelope containing a suspicious powdery substance, here is the Adams County clerk's response. The voters' anonymity is protected and their constitutional right to vote is in place. Should it be determined safe, we will move forward with processing this ballot. It will move forward with processing that ballot, even if it contains a suspicious white powdery substance. That is America at its best. That is our democracy at work. Facing that kind of threat and still saying you will do everything possible to make sure every vote counts. That is heroism. And then there is the election news out of Wisconsin. A few days ago, a Republican Wisconsin state lawmaker named Janelle Brandtjen, a person known for embracing election-related conspiracy theories. Janelle Brandtjen got these in the mail. There were 3 military absentee ballots. They weren't for her. She didn't request them. She just got them in the mail. So she took them to the local sheriff, and she made a very big deal about how unsecure our elections actually are. Now, that is on its face something, but what makes this story singularly insane is what we learned today. Those mystery military absentee ballots were sent by the deputy director of Milwaukee's election commission, a woman named Kimberly Zapata. Yes. Rather than running the election, making sure every vote was counted, this election director, Mrs. Zapata, was actively trying to sow distrust in the election. She didn't catch fraud, she made it up. Zapata has since been fired, and she may even face misdemeanor state charges, but that does not fix the damage here, the pernicious theory that somehow this election is rigged. So over in Colorado, we have election workers facing physical threats for just doing their jobs. And in Wisconsin, we have election administrators ginning up fraud where it doesn't actually exist. And today, Reuters reported that they have identified 23 statewide and local door-to-door canvassing groups intimidating voters. Some of them carried weapons and they wore badges, trying to make themselves seem like they were officials of some kind. Rather than explaining where residents could vote or promoting a candidate, these canvassers grilled residents on their voting history and asked them who lived in their homes. Reuters identified at least 19 states where pro-Trump canvassers like this are using their quote-unquote findings to allege fraud on the basis of inaccurate voter registration lists. In Michigan, a group is already planning to use their list of supposed irregularities to challenge voters in the November 8th election. To be clear, we are now headed for what will likely be the election with the most allegations of fraud in American history. So just, wow, there is a lot going on here. As bad as the unfounded challenges to the 2020 election were, in retrospect, it sort of looks like amateur hour. That was Rudy Giuliani, right? Improvising election fraud claims in front of Four Seasons total landscaping. But this year, there are countless organized groups that have plans to watch the polls and work the polls and intimidate voters and spread misinformation. The Associated Press has already counted more than 100 lawsuits, largely filed by Republicans, targeting everything from mail-in voting to voting registration and access for partisan poll watchers.